So the last video I did showing my office, it generated a ton of engagements and a ton of questions. So I thought I'd do another one, and I'd show specifically what this room's all about and how my wife and I transformed what was an unused bedroom in our house into a pretty cool remote office and content studio. So here's what it is, and here's how we did it. Here's the entrance to the office, and this puzzle poster is a little clue as to what is going to come next. This is called a busy box. This is great if you're creating content because it keeps people from walking in on you. The first thing people notice generally are the comic books. Here's the story behind those. Between 1977 and 1984, Marvel Comics put out 144 different issues of Star Wars. They started with the adaptation of the movie itself, and then they filled in their own original stories and continued on through Return of the Jedi. So the main decorative component in this room are those comic books, and they continue in sequential order around the office, ending down here with the last annual issue. Oh, and for those of you who know your Star Wars toys, that's a vintage 1980 AT-AT. And also over here, the action figure case that I got right around that same time, which still has action figures in it. Down here, this rug has a little TIE fighter motif going through on it. This was an unused bedroom in our house, but we didn't want to completely lose the ability to have people stay here. So we built in this Murphy bed. Each of these flags is symbolic and meaningful. Obviously, the US flag and the Florida flag. I live in Florida, as well as this green Michigan State University flag, which is where I did my undergraduate work, as well as this burnt orange Texas flag, which is where I got my MBA. I didn't understand when I first started this process just how important lighting was. So I have a total of 7 app-enabled lights. The other 2 things that are very critical here are the cameras and prompters. This Sony DSLR is attached to this teleprompter. The same thing is done with this monitor and camera setup. This camera is set up in a vertical orientation. One of the things I struggled with when I first started this process was making the audio all work. This Rodecaster Pro 2, which is probably the most important device I have in here besides the cameras. This is a Stream Deck, which allows for me to control all the functions of the different cameras on the fly with a push of a button. This monitor acts as a couple of different things. First of all, its proximity to my main monitor allows me to maintain eye contact if I take the Zoom or Teams meeting that I'm looking at and put it onto that monitor so I can actually look at people's faces while I'm having a conversation with them. The second thing that this does is allows me to present information. The reason I have a Mac on this side is because it's often very convenient to be able to look at text messages and other things that would normally come through my iPhone on this screen. This television is actually AirPlayed from that Macintosh, this Logitech keyboard and mouse combo. I push a button on this keyboard and simultaneously on this mouse, and it changes my input from one machine to another. And this is the main software component that I use to tie everything together. OBS. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software. It's terrific software for setting up customized expressions of how you want your cameras to work. That's the puppy cam. It's just a standard, inexpensive webcam that points down to where the puppy normally sits. Let's talk about something I get a lot of mixed feedback on, the green screen. It gives me a lot more flexibility in terms of what I'm able to do while I'm either producing content or I'm on video calls. Let me show you what I mean. So here's what it looks like with the green screen. I took a picture of the flags before I put them away, put up the green screen, composited it in, and I think it looks great. Plus, having the green screen allows me to do cool things like this. Hello! So that's it. That's what we've developed here over the last couple of years, very iteratively. This didn't start off with a master plan. This kind of came in piece by piece, but I think it's at a point now where I'm really happy with how it works. It's a great place to focus on your work. And if you do have a content idea, it's very easy to quickly go ahead and record that and get that published. If you have any questions about a setup that you'd like to explore or the specific equipment and model numbers and things like that that I'm using, I'm happy to help. So anyway, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out.